Welcome to this video on the astrology for the week of October 15th through the 21st of 2023. I'm Everett Carney, and welcome to my channel. Please consider subscribing if you're interested in videos like these where I talk about astrology and spirituality. Every single week, I take a look at the astrological energies that surround the week, that are in the week. And so I take a look at the big astrological events occurring for those 7 days, and that's what I'm going to do today. On Sundays, I do general astrology videos or general spirituality videos, which are timeless. These videos don't have anything to do with, they're not forecasting, but they're like a planet and a sign or a topic in spirituality or something like that. On Fridays, I do a TikTok video, and then on Mondays, I publish a new post to my blog on my website, knowledgewisdomandme.com, or something like that. The links are in the About page of my channel. So, delving into this week, we begin with something very deep and very mysterious. It's none other than the moon in the sign of Scorpio on October 15th and 16th. So the moon rules our emotions. It rules our instinctual nature. It also rules over things like intuition and nurturing and the feeling body and who we are at our deepest level. Whenever the moon moves through a sign, it stays in there for 2 to 3 days at a time, and it brings about a different mood. It's the mood of the day, how you're leaning into your feelings, how you feel during whatever sign that it's in. So with the moon in Scorpio, this is a time to really go deep within yourself and find the answers. This moon is about self-reflection, going deep, going inside yourself. And what I mean by this is meditating. Another side to this moon transit is a lot of intensity, very intense emotions and desires that you feel like you want to just go after with all that you have. And passion. What are you passionate about? What makes you so angry, and what do you feel so intensely, so strongly, so powerfully that you are passionate about? One of the things that I'm passionate about is the lunches at the schools, the grade schools, because here's the thing, those lunches are not very good, at least when I was growing up. And I remember there was this one day in middle school when those lunch ladies were coming up to me and saying, nothing that we do you seem to like. And that was the truth, because I didn't understand why just the food that they served was the food that they served. And that makes me angry. And another sort of aspect of food is, do certain people have access to fresh food, to, fresh grocery store? Do they have to travel to the next town, or can there be small businesses that provide food, that provide those resources? So those are just examples, but is it, what are you passionate about? Is it art? Is it, painting, music? poetry? Is it cooking? Is it planting? Is it building? Whatever it is that you're passionate about, you could find a very deep, one-sided desire toward that passion that you have, and the desire to go all in with that. This moon transit, this lunar transit, also gives us a little glimpse into the secrets that are being uncovered, that are being unearthed, especially when it comes to the rich and powerful. Because Pluto in Capricorn, Pluto rules Scorpio, and it's in Capricorn, and it is tearing down those structures. Any lack of accountability and transparency within governmental structures that limit our inner authority and inner control, that's what is being demolished right now. And so what's also being uncovered is the people up there who are rich and powerful in secrets and underhand tactics that they may show, whether they're being conscious of it or not. Maybe it could be secrets of the rich and powerful. You thought that this leader was one way, but really when you dig deeper and unearth the mysteries and the truth behind that, you find all these schemes and all of these schisms and scams and all these kinds of things that they do behind the scenes that you didn't know about. So this could be secrets in the media, secrets in the political spectrum, or just secrets in your environment. This moon presents an opportunity for us to delve deeper into ourselves and into our environment, to find out the mysteries, to find out the truth of what's really going on when we read between the lines, when we dig, when we ask questions, when we seek answers, when we really put a lot of emphasis on digging for things, getting to the bottom of things, finding the truth within things. So you could be feeling a lot of deep emotions with this moon, deep feelings. And so it's really important to be present with those emotions, to just sit with those emotions in the present moment. Let them be there and let them come and go, and feel and lean into whatever deep emotions that we may be feeling. And there could be some, a need for deep and meaningful conversations that goes beyond the superficial. So, what issues in relationship need to be addressed? What kind of deep and meaningful conversations need to be had, like a relationship issue or something different. But connecting with people in this kind of meaningful way, talking it out, having this kind of conversations is going to be important for us. So conversations about a topic in philosophy or an issue that's really going on. Conversations that aren't like small talk, but they really get to the bottom note. They really, get down there to what is true, what lies in the deliciousness of what could be talked about and contemplated. So this moon in Scorpio is a deeply introspective time. So we're going within ourselves. We are reflecting. We are really going more internal. So the other thing is that this is a good moon placement to face your fears, whatever it may be. It may be heights, it may be bees, it may be automatic flush, toilets, because that was a big fear for me. when I was younger. Whatever it is, we can find the strength. We can find a kind of power and a sense that we can face our fears during this particular moon, because moon in Scorpio, once it latches on to something that it wants to achieve and transform within itself, there is no stopping it. So any kind of area that we can face our fears in one way or another is going to serve us. Um, this is also a good lunar transit to purge what no longer works for you. If there's something that you know doesn't work, but you've kept putting off and putting off not doing, then now is the time to get to it. Maybe it's stuff. Maybe it's physical possessions like the clothes in your closet or something different that needs to be purged, that needs to be released. Maybe it's a certain way of being. Maybe it's a feeling or something in the non-physical. Whatever needs to be purged and released during this time. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it is a certain way of being that you desperately want to release. And now is the time to have that power and have that honest look at what is not working. And there may be a sense that, oh, I just so want to release this, but I can't seem to do it. Well, now is the time to really pull up your bootstraps and have the courage and bravery to release that, because when we release, when we go through that cycle of death, rebirth, transformation, then we find true power. And so that's what Pluto is about. We could also be more attuned to the darker aspects of reality, to the deeper, more negative emotions or implants on people that may be harmful to them, whatever it is that may be in the darker, deeper, parts of life. And then it goes back to, revealing secrets and all the things that I discussed here. So then the moon shifts into Sagittarius on October 17th and 18th. And so we've done all that deep purging, all that deep transformative work when the moon was in Scorpio. Now it's in Sagittarius, and now we can have fun. We can rise to the top of Mount Olympus with the moon in Sagittarius. There's an optimism in the air, there's a joy in the air, because moon in Sagittarius really brings a lucky energy where you're more aware and attuned to where there is good fortune in your life to be thankful for. So the moon in Sagittarius is an expansive moon, an expansive lunar transit. It wants to grow. It wants to read this new novel and find this new idea here. Read this book, watch this documentary, travel to this place to gain new, knowledge and wisdom. Sagittarius is that hope for the future, that you can wake up and it's a new day, and what is there to explore, what is there to uncover, and um and to engage my mind and body in a way that I did not do the day before and a couple weeks before that even. So and that all goes back to your philosophy in your life. And basically, what is your philosophy? What is your outlook on life? Because your outlook, your whole perspective of it really makes your life what it is. And you attract like people and experiences to you based off of your vibration, based off of what you're feeling, how you perceive life, how you perceive your reality. what your reality is made out of. So if you are, miserable and sad and, down and depressed and all those kind of things, then you may attract that into your life. Who knows? Um, but then if you're very happy and curious and excitable and youthful, we're talking about youth, having a fresh beginner's mind and you're content and, abundant and full of love and joy, then you may attract those experiences into your life. What is on the table in terms of travel and adventure? It can be going a new route to work, or going to a new restaurant and trying a new dish, or going to the store that you've never been to. This is a great lunar transit to do something within your day-to-day reality that is just a little bit different. That is you wanting to expand, go beyond what you know to be true, go beyond your known routines, to then travel somewhere else and go on an adventure somewhere else that may be new and exciting for you at this time. So spiritual growth, there's opportunities for that, growing your soul, growing your divine part of you, growing your intuition, all those kind of things, which you could throw in as something wonderful, how to utilize the moon Sagittarius. You may feel like you want spontaneity during this time. So being very spontaneous, and choosing to do something that you didn't plan before, but something that you want to do just because you have a whim and you have an inspiration about you that you want to do this thing. And so definitely, it's definitely a good opportunity to do something out of the box and out of the ordinary and spontaneous, and to act on your mood, to act on that inspiration, to act on that part of yourself that doesn't want to do the same roll whole away, but wants to do something that is off the beaten path. So just doing something because you feel inspired to do it, basically. That's what this comes down to. There's also a deep need when it comes to when the moon is Sagittarius. When the moon is in Sagittarius, we feel a desire for freedom. And if there's any structure or people in our lives that are limiting us from personal and philosophical freedom, then we must let those things go, and we must put it on the back burner now, because we are stepping into our personal freedom of how we're expressing ourselves, of what we're learning, of how we're growing, of what we're doing in our lives, of how we're living our lives. There's a need for this now. Now, on October 20th, we have an interesting aspect. The sun is conjunct Mercury. And so whenever we have the sun in Libra conjunct Mercury, now the sun and Mercury coming together, the sun illuminates whatever planet that it interacts with. It brings light and it brings a sense of vitality and power to that planet, that it lights up in the sky. And so when it comes to Mercury, when the sun is lighting up Mercury or holding hands with Mercury, it makes an energy that's very intellectual. So your mind is going to be more active. You're thinking more. You are wanting to communicate more. There's an element of air within, not a whole lot of air going on in the heavens, because there's not a whole lot of air in the, if a baby were born during these particular times, they'd have an ongoing a grand trine Earth, making them very practical, very pragmatic, very grounded, able to do something and get results out of that, but not a whole lot of air. And I haven't been feeling too communicative over, several months, I should say. So That's because there's not a whole lot of planets in air. So air is that intellectual element. It rules the mind. It's that part of you that just wants to share your ideas, talk to talk to talk, and go on a little tangent and go on the merry way of ideas and learning and information, all this kind of things like that. So your mind may be more active. You're thinking much more in a busy way about more things, and thinking more. Your mind might be more active with, ideas and plans and all those kind of things like that. So this conjunction, now the opportunity that can be sort of harvested and taken from this conjunction is communication with confidence. This makes for a really great conjunction to express yourself, to speak from your heart, to speak from your gut, to speak from your mind, to communicate your ideas with the freedom and the self-empowerment to do so, and communicating from a place of confidence. So you're very sure about what you're saying, what's coming out of your mouth, and you're communicating with a radiance, an exuberance, a passion, and a sense of power that also comes with an intelligence. So you've done the information, you've researched the information, you have all these great ideas that you want to share, and now is the time to share these ideas. Like a lot of motivational speakers, including if there's TED Talks done during this particular conjunction, would fare well, because it gives you a sense of power and being self-assured and confident within yourself about what you are sharing, and you can inspire others to greatness with you being open and extroverted and willing to share those ideas, and you inspire others to share their ideas. And so it's a time for bold self-expression, especially when it comes to communication. Um, you know, I want to say daring to write, to communicate, to speak what is on your mind and in your heart during this time. So communications can really thrive. Now, the other thing is there may be a lot of attunement towards appointments, meetings, interactions, all things in the mental air mercurial land of life in the three-dimensional. So your mind may be buzzing with plans that you have, this meeting over here, this interaction, this job, this promotion, all these kind of things like that. So you may be more attuned to all of the communications that you may need to have during this time and all the interactions that you need to have. So this is also great for enriching the mind, expanding, growing the mind, great for learning new things. Much like the moon in Sagittarius presents an expansiveness. And so learning new things would be, a great thing to do during this, transit. And also having your ideas, speaking your ideas, but also, giving confidence, taking action, because the sun is, really, this, it also deals with Mars, planet of action, but the sun is personal power and, conscious awareness, so you can take action on your ideas, that you can speak. And so the sun is, your ego, and Mercury is the intellect. So hand in hand, you put them together and they're very similar. And Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. So there you go. So not only are we going to be communicating our ideas, but also taking action on them and finding the courage to do that as well. Then on October 21st, the sun is square the Lord of the underworld, Pluto. Pluto is the planet of transformation, death and rebirth, evolution, primal desires, destruction. It deals things that are underhand and underground things, secrets. And it deals with personal empowerment, finding a sense of power through transformation, through that death and rebirth. So I could continue on saying that till the cows come home. But the invitation for this transit is to let go of the need to be in control, which can be difficult for someone with a lot of Plutonian energy, and a lot of Scorpionic energy, because even though Scorpio is about releasing what doesn't work for you and destructing and transformation, it is a fixed sign, and fixed signs latch onto something. With Scorpio, it's something very intense, very emotional, very primal. It has an emotional desire that it's attached onto, and it has a very difficult time letting go of that attachment. So where you can let go of the need to be in control and allow, the receiving of the love and energy from, other people. That can be something to keep in mind during this time. And it's about allowing change, allowing things to come and go, just like money comes and goes. With money, you pay your money and then you give it to someone else and you trade it, you exchange it. So allowing for any kind of change in your life, whatever that might be, and allowing for transformation within your physical self, within your environment, allowing for that. There may also be some power struggles and ego conflicts where you're fighting, and when it comes to fighting, when it comes to two people having a fight, the two people are coming together and fighting because one wants to take the power from the other. One wants to be more empowered and more powerful, rule over the other. And there's this intense feeling of needing to be in control, needing to win. And so there could be more power struggles, ego conflicts on the mundane scale of things, but also in your personal life where you're fighting against, the battle of the wills with someone, and you're seeing who will win on an ego level. And so that could be, a possibility here. But on a positive note, you may feel stronger and more motivated to go after your goals. Like the strong energy inside of you, the strong, powerful energy that you feel that is inside you to go after your goals, to go after what you desire and give it all that you have. So what are you passionate about? What do you desire? Now it's the time to, with strength and motivation, go after your goals. However, we can do this if we're falling to the shadow side of this particular square. And I should mention that a square is when two planets are aligning at a 90-degree angle, and it creates a tension, but that tension is essential for all of us to take action to change what no longer works for us. And it takes that discomfort for the real hard work and the results to be reaped and done. So it's important to be mindful that we're not pushing our way and bulldozing and being super aggressive with what we desire, because this square can maybe present a lot of us feeling a strong urge to push and gain control. So while we are having a strong sense of personal power, let's try to use it in a wise, kind, and loving way instead of a destructive and aggressive way, where we hurt others, we push others to the side. We are, pushing our way to the front of the line when we really needed to wait at the back of the line. When we're in a hurry to get past this area of the track, so we are super rude to the person who's trying all they can to move the trays out of our way. So it's, mindful of the aggressiveness that could come to play here. So stress could also present stress, feelings of stress, and that could trigger conflict and all those negative things like that, and emotional feelings of emotional overwhelm. And there could be more underhand tactics, people convincing you of something, and really they have an ulterior motive, or you may have an ulterior motive toward what you want, of certain things that you may have, and a secretive tactic, and a means of getting what you desire through something underhand. So it's mindful of that your motives are pure, loving, and they're not going to hurt your relationships, that your motives are clear and, true and authentic, and they sit right and they feel right with your intuition. So jealousy, feelings of jealousy could also be a possibility with the square, and emotional manipulation, you trying to get other people to do what you want them to do. So, you, wail or beg, or, or do whatever. So both of those two things together, excuse me, tired. Both of those two things are both negative. That's all I can say about that. Criminal activity. So there may be more criminal activity with square energy. And so, yeah, so again, we come back to self-empowerment, and we also come back to harnessing our personal power to go after what we want. So use a square to accomplish something, to achieve something with a lot of passion and an intense drive and focus, and also transform what you need to and release what you need to, so you find a greater sense of power within yourself. All right, everybody, that is your astrology horoscope for this week. And I look forward to seeing your comments. If there is any comments under this video, I hope that you found this information helpful and insightful and inspiring. This video is a little bit late in terms of when it's getting out into the open, because I had problems with the other screen recorder that I was using, so I had to redo the whole entire video, and I'm recording it off of Zoom. So thank you for waiting and being patient with that. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day, or whenever you're watching this. Good evening, good night, good morning, and bye for now.